Decision day in League B Group A has arrived. From the Estadio Cuscatlán in San Salvador, it's St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Bonaire, with St. Vincent and the Grenadines needing a win to have a chance at promotion and automatic qualification for next summer's Gold Cup, and Bonaire needing a win to guarantee that they remain in League B for next year. I'm Donnie Barnes. We see our weather conditions today in El Salvador, 73 degrees, a slight breeze. See plenty of humidity, the threat of rain in the air, but otherwise very pleasant temperatures and conditions for soccer this afternoon. This is the first of a doubleheader today. Later tonight it will be El Salvador taking on Montserrat. And so St. Vincent and the Grenadines, you see here in our group standings, if they win and take all 3 points in this game, they would at least temporarily leapfrog El Salvador into first place in the group. They would then have to wait on the result from that game tonight to see whether they win the group or not. And again, if you win your group in League B, it means two things. One, automatic promotion to League A for the next Nations League season, which won't be until 2026 because there's no Nations League next year because it's a World Cup year. But still, you gain promotion to League A for that next Nations League cycle, and you would gain automatic qualification by winning your group to the Gold Cup next summer in the United States, which of course all of these nations very much want to participate in. So, important game for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And as mentioned, for Bonaire, they want to make sure that they remain in League B for next season and don't drop down to League C. And they enter this match today, this final match day of the League B season, as you saw a moment ago in our group table, in third place, just 1 point ahead of Montserrat for third. So if you finish in third place, you stay in the same league for that next Nations League season. If you finish bottom of your group, you get demoted or relegated, that is, to League C for next season. So a very important game for both of these nations, as these two head coaches will try to mastermind a crucial win here today. Ezra Hendrickson is the head coach of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Bonaire managed by Rilove Yanga. So those two coaches looking on as their sides get set to kick off in just a little bit. Again, later this evening, the conclusion of League B Group A's action, as it will be El Salvador, who are the hosts for this round of matches in Group A. And they will take on Montserrat in front of a home crowd with a chance to clinch the group win. And of course, El Salvador will be hoping that Bonaire can spring an upset here in this game against St. Vincent, because that would mean that El Salvador would have already clinched qualification for the Gold Cup and promotion to League A before they even play this evening. St. Vincent have to take all 3 points in this game in order for that game tonight between El Salvador and Montserrat to matter in terms of who wins this group and gains all of the benefits that come with that. You see the two sides taking to the pitch from those underground changing rooms here at the Estadio Cuscatlán, which is the largest stadium in Central America. It's been undergoing renovations for the last handful of years. The scene of this important match here today. We'll listen to the national anthems of both these nations and then come back with your starting 11s and kickoff in just a moment. St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Bonaire next. The national anthems of our two nations for this match this afternoon, St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Bonaire, as they exchange the traditional pre-match handshakes before this concluding game of the Concacaf Nations League League B Group A finale. St. Vincent and the Grenadines will be in their green kits today, Bonaire in the white with the blue sleeves and the red trim. Will be officially introduced to our match officials in just a moment. First, we'll see the starting 11 for St. Vincent and the Grenadines as they take their pre-match photo. It is a 5-3-2. Olex Anderson, the captain, he's one of those two forwards. He plays in the United States in the USL Championship for North Carolina FC. He's been a great player for that team for the last couple of years, so a man to definitely watch up front for St. Vincent. Lemus Christopher is their goalkeeper. They're a side that has scored 9 goals in their previous 5 group matches, so averaging nearly 2 per game. They've had a potent attack, coming off a 2-1 win over Montserrat a few days ago in their last match. Here are today's officials, led by our center referee today, Jose Torres, assisted by Jairo Morales and Jorginho Vasquez, with Jorge Laira, the fourth official today. You see them in their highlighter yellow kits and socks as they take the pre-match photo with both sides' captains. Mentioned Olex Anderson captaining St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Now let's see the starting 11 for Bonaire. They have Denior Cecilia in goal. The captain is Marcelin Poirier. They have 4 across the back, a 4-4-2 formation at the start of this one, with Rishagie Oleana and Serginho Gerardo up front. You see the coaches' benches for both these sides. Mentioned St. Vincent and the Grenadines, coached by Ezra Hendrickson, who had a distinguished career in Major League Soccer. Brief look at the Bonaire bench as well. Bonaire definitely the underdogs in this game. St. Vincent have had a fine campaign. St. Vincent are in danger of just narrowly missing out on promotion for a second straight season. They finished second in their League B group last year. Again, have to win this game to have a chance at winning this group. They would have to hope for some help from Montserrat later tonight against El Salvador. But all they can do is take care of their side of things, and that's what they'll hope to do, starting in just a few seconds. And again for Bonaire, needing a win to ensure that they stay up in League B and don't get demoted, relegated, that is, to League C for next season. Look at Jort van der Saan. Plays in Holland. And our center referee, Jose Torres, ready to blow the whistle today. It will be St. Vincent and the Grenadines to kick things off. There is the opening whistle, and we are in motion in El Salvador. The League B Group A finale. St. Vincent and the Grenadines must win to have a chance at promotion and automatic qualification for the Gold Cup next summer. If they finish second in their group, which is the likelier scenario coming into play today, they would still have a chance to qualify for the Gold Cup next summer. They would have to go into the preliminary play-ins So a win for them today would certainly clinch at least a spot in the play-in. And you don't get promoted to League A for finishing second in your group, unfortunately, so that would be off the table if they don't leapfrog El Salvador on this final match day. Plenty to play for one way or the other for both of these sides. And we'll see if we get some final day drama here in the first of our doubleheader this afternoon. As a cut to the end line, St. Vincent and the Grenadines on the attack. That ran out of play. It'll be a goal kick for Bonaire. Early attack there from Tristan Marshall for St. Vincent. Denyor Cecilia, the goalkeeper for Bonaire, playing it short as they choose to play out from the back. For Bonaire, one win so far in group play. 1 win, 1 draw, 3 losses. They've scored 3 and conceded 5. Goals scored by Hova, Van der Sand, and Cecilia. Again, for St. Vincent, 9 goals scored in their 5 prior group matches. They've also conceded 6, so it is a St. Vincent side who have played a fairly open, expansive brand of soccer, which has meant they are exciting to watch from an attacking standpoint and have been prone to conceding at the back as well. So it's the recipe for an exciting game. Bonaire looking to possess the ball and calm things down early on. St. Vincent and the Grenadines coming off a 2-1 victory over Montserrat a few days ago. That was a game where they took the lead just before halftime. Looked like they'd put it away with an 86th minute penalty that made it 2-0, but then they conceded 2 minutes later. Had to endure a slightly nervous last few. Attack for Bonaire now. Their first time onto the attack, and from outside the area, great save made by Lemus Christopher. Excellent strike by Jort van der Sand, and it was headed for that top right corner until Lemus Christopher intervened. First big moment of the game. It's well worked by Bonaire. Laid off perfectly for van der Sand. Good stop from Christopher. Corner for Bonaire, the first of the game. Left-footed in-swinger toward the near post. Headed clear by Azinho Solomon. Regrouped by Bonaire. Bit of a heavy touch, and now St. Vincent with a chance to gallop away on the counter, but back to defend and clean that up was Timothy Muller. They only had 2 defenders back there, Bonaire, but one of them well positioned to make that play. 4 minutes gone, 0-0. Early excitement, though. Both of our matches today in Group A being hosted at this same venue, the Estadio Cuscatlán in San Salvador, El Salvador. That was a change in League B for this season, with matches being played at centralized venues in each round. So the venues have rotated for each international window during this Nations League over the last couple months. El Salvador's turn to host this round of matches. St. Vincent and the Grenadines have had 5 different goal scorers over their 5 group games so far. They've had 4 different players score twice. There is Ezra Hendrickson, born in St. Vincent. Had a terrific career in Major League Soccer. Won an MLS Cup with LA Galaxy, of course. Played for a number of other MLS clubs. Has been a head coach in MLS with Chicago Fire most recently. returning to the nation of his birth to coach their national team. Still an opportunity to guide them to what would be one of their greatest moments so far. If they were to win today and then see El Salvador fail to win later tonight, it could still be a glory day for St. Vincent. They have to make sure they win this game to have any chance of that, though. Bonaire have started this brightly. They settle here with Roendley Martin. Van der Sand, who was denied by that good save by Christopher a moment ago, has it back at his feet. Pretty good, confident early possession from Bonaire. St. Vincent wanting a foul there. They thought there was a shove on Tristan Marshall. Nothing given, so it's a throw for Bonaire. Now St. Vincent, who have tons of speed, they will always be a threat on the counter in situations like this. Down the left side they come with Solomon. Wanted to get the cross or the cut back in, but it was well defended, and it came off Solomon last. Well done by Marcelin Poirier, the captain for Bonaire, who bounced it off of Solomon for a goal kick. And then dwelling on the ball and getting dispossessed. Chance for St. Vincent here. Lob toward that back post and wide. And Bonaire get away with that. They turned it over to Dial Spring. Spring, I think, trying to curl that toward that top corner. So Bonaire committed to playing out from the back, and that's all well and good. Unless and until you dwell on it too long and get dispossessed in a bad spot. And that was what happened to them a moment ago. Fortunate that that didn't wind up in their net. 8 minutes gone. Goalless between St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Bonaire so far. Able to win another ball back, St. Vincent. Not able to create much from it, as they hand it back to Roendley Martin, who goes galloping through the middle. And trying to bring Van der Sand into the play. Danjamir Cecilia now, one of their goal scorers from this Nations League season. Again, just 3 goals scored in 5 games. The attack hasn't been overly potent, but they've had some nice moments. This is a good chest down as well. Top of the 18. Things on here for Bonaire, but they can't find either of the 2 options. We're just above that 18-yard box. But lots of spaces and gaps in that midfield for St. Vincent early on in this game, and Bonaire exploiting those decently well so far. Back they come down this left side with Gerardo. And he goes to the end line for Muller, whose cutback was repelled at the near post. That was a committed challenge, and it works out. And Van der Sand trying to clip it over the top. Had 2 teammates making that run, but slightly overhit. And claimed by Christopher, who sets his teammate straight away on the counter. It is the kind of track meet game that we suspected it might be early on. Again, with this game time temperature in the low 70s, it's the kind of conditions with overcast skies, the sun not too big a factor right now. As long as the rain stays away, really ideal conditions to run all day, as players will often say. These are the kinds of conditions that players often prefer. Don't often get them. It's ordinarily a match that starts at this tempo. You'd say it can't stay this way. They're going to tire out eventually, but good conditions like these, who knows? They might be able to keep this up longer than usual. This is going to stay in play. Another 50-50 ball. That's won by St. Vincent's Kanija Joseph. And then a throw for St. Vincent on that far touchline. Still very early in this match, of course. It would be interesting to see, though, the longer this game goes on at 0-0, or let's say it were 1-1 later in the second half, St. Vincent have to win. A draw does them absolutely no good today. It's cutting to the inside, trying to feed it in, and then finding a teammate. It's lobbed off the bar. Bonaire so close again to the opening goal. So close for Danjamir Cecilia. Cecilia, good first touch, and immediately gets it out of his feet. He was able to clip it over the goalkeeper, but not quite under the crossbar. So a big save by Christopher a few minutes in, and then nothing he could do about that one, but his crossbar bailing him and St. Vincent and the Grenadines out. I mentioned a draw doesn't do St. Vincent good today. It could be enough possibly to secure qualification for the play-in, as this is going to be a corner for St. Vincent. This will be their first of the match. Again, the two best finishers, the two best group runners-up in League B qualify for the Gold Cup play-ins next year. St. Vincent came into this game a point ahead of three others. So if they draw or lose, they could still qualify for that play-in, but they'd be vulnerable to whatever else happens with those other possible runners-up. Whereas if they win today, then they're assured of finishing at least in those play-in spots. First corner for them, swung toward the backside and volleyed right on in the first save of the game for Denyor Cecilia. So chances at either end now. And St. Vincent and the Grenadines, a well-worked set-piece routine. They had that spare man completely wide open at the back post, and this time it's Bonaire who get away with things. Poor marking. And they're fortunate that volley flew straight at their goalkeeper. Fun game, as we suspected it would be. This is going to be a free kick for St. Vincent. Very few whistles in this opening quarter of an hour. Credit to Jose Torres. He's doing his best to stay out of the way and let the game flow, and it has very nicely so far. Felt he had to blow the whistle there on Rayleigh Martin. Uncharacteristic touch for Najima Bergen there. Player has gone down for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That's Joseph Barter. I saw the referee immediately signal for the stretcher. See if we can see what happened. Well, apparently whatever the issue is, it already happened at that point. See him collapse. You always fear the worst when there's an apparent non-contact injury like that. See, the rain is falling now. I mentioned that was a definite threat at match time. Well, let's see whether Joseph Barter might be able to continue. Usually when you see a player collapse like that, his day is done, but it looks like he might be able to shake this off. Good sign one way or the other that he's at least walking to the touchline on his own power. Love Janga, the head coach of Bonaire. He's been their manager since 2023. Played for, not Bonaire, they weren't known as that then internationally. It was the Netherlands Antilles. He played for Netherlands Antilles until the disbandment of the Netherlands Antilles Football Union in 2011. then did play for Bonaire. Appointed manager last year. Bit of a scrappy sequence in the game now. Game's momentum temporarily interrupted by that brief injury. Both sides trying to regain some rhythm. Bonaire almost gave it away there. Van der Sande now been very involved in these opening 20 minutes. Good strength to hold off a challenge. Felt he was contacted from behind there as he got rid of that pass. On we go as the poncho is out for Rilove Janga. Neat backheel flick. He's clever from Serginho Gerardo, and then trying to win the ball back. Gives away the foul this time. Another look at the decision. Play it long from the restart. Decent idea, just slightly overhit as they tried to catch Bonaire sleeping from that free kick. Remember, later this evening, El Salvador and Montserrat in the same stadium. Figured to have a decent crowd for that, with El Salvador playing at home. Both sides claiming this throw. It's going to be St. Vincent's, as that apparently spun off the toe of Amir Winkelaar. St. Vincent with a cutback, and then across the face a goal, and it's the opening goal for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They have to win. They have a lead in the 19th minute. It's Dial Spring on the score sheet, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the lead. Well, that throw-in proved to be critical because directly from that throw-in, they combined so well. Great surge to the end line, then the pullback was perfect, and the finish from Spring, unerring. Great work by Shaquem Adams to put it on a plate for him. It was Adams who started the move with the initial flick, and then picks up the assist. Crashing in was Dial Spring, who timed the run perfectly. And after a bit of a slow start, St. Vincent and the Grenadines in front before the 20th minute. Tough blow for Bonaire, who had started the game pretty well and had had a couple opportunities. They have some space down the left side here as they try to respond right away. Muller, hands going up for St. Vincent, but no offside flag raised. This will be a Bonaire throw by that corner flag. Bonaire with that early save that they forced out of Lemus Christopher on a strong effort by Jort van der Sande. Oh, a big collision there. Referee puts whistle to lips. Initially was going to play advantage. Now he blows the whistle. It's going to be the first card of the match. And it's shown to Richagia Oleana for this. And boy, that is a high boot. Studs exposed. There's no VAR in the Nations League. If there were, that's one of those that might have gone to review. It turned out to be worse than a yellow for Oleana and for Bonaire, but Just a caution. Lemus Christopher with that big early save to keep it at 0-0, and then saw that good clipped effort from Danjamir Cecilia clip off the top of his crossbar in the 16th. Not that long before St. Vincent took the lead, which now they seek to add to. Cutting inside and surging into the box. Going for goal, I think, with the toe poke. And then the foul given against Ezenio Solomon. Solomon had some teammates in green there at the box, in the box, who were yelling for the square ball. Chose to go for it on his own instead. They're still stringing together some good combinations in the middle of the park. You could argue they continue to have the better of the midfield, but midway through this opening half, it is St. Vincent and the Grenadines with the better end product, leading by a goal to 0. Van der Sand, again, navigating that midfield area very well. Finding a teammate forward. Nice turn and a strike with a left foot on goal. Another save for Lemus Christopher, his second of this first half. Unleashed there by Rowendley Martin. Struck it well, straight at the goalkeeper. Relatively routine for Christopher, but still had to get himself behind it. Now what a roll and a turn by Olex Anderson, and he's away. And he chips it into the path of Solomon, who sees his efforts saved. And it'll be a corner for St. Vincent. Pace continues to be excellent in this first half. Good effort, good save. Fingertips from Denyor Cecilia, getting his right hand up to push that out. Second corner for St. Vincent. Shaquem Adams, Shaq Adams, ready to take for them. Lifts that in swinger. It's a good ball. Decent header away. Reset by St. Vincent. Left-footed strike was rolling in the direction of an offside player. Bonaire looking for the counter. There's only one back for St. Vincent. The foot race ensues. It's 2-on-2 now. It's Gerardo into the area before he's dispossessed by a backtracking Tristan Marshall. And that's an example there of how St. Vincent do leave themselves quite open at times at the back. That's why they've now scored 10 in the group phase, conceded 6. Haven't conceded yet today, but they've been living on the edge a few times. They give away a free kick here as we're 25 minutes in just about. Bonaire wanting to keep the tempo high, and that attempt much too high. And out for a goal kick. Now St. Vincent looking to set off that foot race down the left. It's tackled out. Clean tackle, apparently. It will be another corner for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. See the speed from Olex Anderson. He is electric out on that wing. Good tackle. Well timed. Had to be from Richagier Oleana, who is on a yellow card, remember. Shaq Adams to take again. Another in-swinging ball, headed clear, and referee's whistle blows for a foul against St. Vincent. Free kick, Bonaire. It was that tug in the box called against Joseph Barter. Great to see that Barter's been able to continue in this game. We weren't sure that was going to be the case about 10 minutes ago when he went down. Well, so far, St. Vincent doing what they need to do, and that's win this game. Long way to go, obviously. And if they were being greedy, not only do they need to win this game, they could really stand to win it by a crooked score, if at all possible. That's obviously much easier said than done. That's given away by Bonaire. They'll tussle forward at the top of the 18. That's good close control again by Vandersand, who continues to be excellent in this opening half an hour. Finish the thought, though, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as this flag goes up for offside. Coming into the game, 2 points behind El Salvador for the top spot in Group A, and everything that goes along with finishing first in your group in League B of the Nations League. They're also 2 goals behind El Salvador in goal differential, which, of course, is the primary tiebreaker. The only way that would come into play, of course, is if St. Vincent were to win this game and El Salvador were to only draw later tonight against Montserrat, as this spins off Bonaire's Rayleigh Martin and goes out for a St. Vincent corner. Another attacking set piece for them. So if St. Vincent could win by, say, several goals, they would give themselves the opportunity to finish top if El Salvador were to do anything other than win against Montserrat later tonight. Otherwise, if El Salvador still have the goal differential in their favor, then even a draw later this evening would be good enough for El Salvador to win the group, even with a St. Vincent victory here in this game. So St. Vincent ideally want to win convincingly, as this curls to the back post and is sent over the top. Decent opportunity, but caught a little bit flat-footed, I think, was Brandon John. The ball just a bit behind him and not able to keep it down. So El Salvador very much in a commanding position to win this group coming into this final day. Any of us who have followed this sport for any amount of time know that crazy things can happen on final days. And you never take anything for granted. El Salvador certainly will be massive favorites at home in this stadium against Montserrat later tonight, but St. Vincent want to make sure they do everything they can to put as much pressure on them as possible. And of course, if St. Vincent were to get pegged back and fail to win this game, and Bonaire have showed themselves to be capable of getting something from this one so far, as this is going to be a free kick for St. Vincent. Well, in that case, then there would be no pressure on El Salvador later tonight. Acrobatic juggle there by Dial Spring, the goal scorer. Bonaire continue to be able to progress the ball pretty well. Can they find some finishing touch in that attacking third? That's always the biggest challenge, of course. Alex Anderson with one juggle, then plays it off the Bonaire attacker. Over a half an hour gone in San Salvador this afternoon. Neutral site game for these two sides. Referee, I think, feeling that a few too many yards were stolen there before that throw. Instructs it to be retaken. This ball stays in play. Has to be played by St. Vincent. Now the flag goes up for offside. George van der Sande confused by that. So how much drama will we see on this final day of League B Group A action? You see the goal by Diel Spring, scored in the 19th minute. Both sides have had some other opportunities as well. It has been a pretty open game. Again, looking wide open in the midfield. Clipped forward by van der Sande. It's a great ball. Rolling around and eventually taken by Martin, who's pulled back into the middle, is turned over and slammed off the goalkeeper. Rebound is loose still, and somehow St. Vincent and the Grenadines get away with that. Should be 1-1. Point-blank save by Lemus Christopher keeps his side in front. How important could that be at the end of the day and maybe at the end of the night? Bonaire with a glorious chance to equalize and heap the pressure right back on St. Vincent. Just a complete miss kick in front of his own goal by Joseph Barter, but there was Lemus Christopher to bail his teammate out. Sometimes you need your goalkeeper to do that, and that is exactly what Christopher did there. Looked like Barter kicked it off his standing leg. And he's very fortunate that that didn't wind up on some less than ideal highlight reels. Happens to everybody at some point. You just hope it doesn't happen in a big spot, especially for your country. It would have been a very difficult moment for Joseph Barter if that had gone in the back of the net, but fortunately for he and St. Vincent, Lemus Christopher right there to deny it. George van der Sande continues to look excellent in this first half for Bonaire. They can't get him off the ball, St. Vincent. He's just spraying passes around anywhere he wants. Has to be an area of some concern for Ezra Hendrickson on that St. Vincent touchline, even though his side has the lead. Closing in toward halftime, you do wonder if Ezra Hendrickson might tweak some things in midfield for the second half to try to prevent van der Sande from getting on the ball quite so often and quite so easily. Bonaire trying to apply the pressure, and they do, and they force the turnover, and van der Sande able to get turned. Down this left side for Gerardo, and Gerardo swings it in with the right, but overhits his two teammates in the box. And with 10 minutes of the 45 remaining, it's a goal kick for St. Vincent. Ezra Hendrickson, though, you can see his frustration. He knows his team have been a little bit fortunate to have the lead at this point, but they're always dangerous going forward, and here they come now on the counter. And it's Anderson to the end line. His pullback defended away by Timothy Muller. Nearly given away at the edge of the 18, and somehow wriggling his way through was Amir Winklar. And again, St. Vincent find themselves stretched a bit, but they're able to do enough to intercept that. Now the referee stops play with a player down behind the play, and that's Shaq Adams who's on the turf. Well, neither head coach looking very happy at this point. Well, that's where Shaq Adams went down. Shaq Adams currently unattached, as the term goes in soccer. Doesn't have a club at the moment. Played many years in the USL in the United States. Veteran presence for this St. Grenadines side. That back pass, dangerous, nearly under hit. Both teams feel on the edge of disaster defensively in this first half. Those mistakes have gone mostly unpunished. The one goal from St. Vincent came from a nice routine straight from a throw, as the officials, over talking with Rilove Yanga, just asking him to calm down a bit. From the restart, Bonaire switching it to that far side. They'll have a throw in the attacking third. In quickly for Van der Sand. Now St. Vincent, can they get out on the run? That's what they love to do, of course. We've seen it several times already in this first half. Forced to check back into the midfield this time. And that's where Bonaire want to funnel them in these kinds of situations, of course. Force them to pass it sideways instead of playing those fast, dangerous vertical balls toward their speedy wingers. St. Vincent able to keep it and work it well, though. This is good build-up play from them, and they're going to have a free kick. Foul there against Oleana, who is on the yellow, remember. As every St. Vincent player, I'm sure, will be eager to remind referee Jose Torres at every opportunity. Shaq Adams back up and apparently okay. Takes most of their set pieces, takes this one as well, and it goes all the way through. Both sides claiming it, and it'll be a goal kick. And they're wanting to take it quickly. Referee, I think, has ordered it to be retaken. I'm not sure if the ball had ever come to a stop after it was placed down by Denyor Cecilia. No, there were two balls on the pitch, apparently. Dangerous ball out from Cecilia, and somehow it works out for Bonaire. That appeared to morph straight through a St. Vincent attacker. Not sure how it got by, but it allows them to build and come forward now, Bonaire. Timothy Muller. And this is going to be a throw for them as we approach the final 5 of this first half. So 40 minutes on the clock. Dial Springs' 19th minute tally, the only one so far. But you consider, when you consider the opportunities and frankly the mistakes that have happened at the back for both these teams, how wide open this game has felt. A bit surprising that there's only been one that wound up in the net to this point. Long ball out of the back. Play that home run pass. Lemus Christopher's had to make a couple really good saves in this first half. Seen another come off his crossbar. Denyor Cecilia has had a couple saves as well. Here's the drop of the shoulder from Adams, and he nutmegs a player. Goes down on the edge of the area. It was Olex Anderson, looking for a free kick. Doesn't get one. It's been a pretty high threshold for fouls in this first half from Jose Torres. He's remained consistent about that. Strong on the dribble here, into the box. Trying to work his way through. Gerardo finally repelled, and it rolls out for a throw. Gerardo allowed to progress a long way with that ball. Another one of those sequences from St. Vincent where they really allow that advancement a bit too easily. And that one goes between two white shirts and will roll harmlessly out for a goal kick. Bit of a frustrating first half from Bonaire because they played well, I think, for long stretches. Haven't found that finishing touch in the final third, which is, of course, so often the case in soccer. The hardest part is to finish and find that cutting edge. What athleticism from Barry Sonnenschein to somehow keep hold of that ball. Rolls all the way to Lemus Christopher. Closing in on halftime. Is there another twist left in this first half? Will St. Vincent carry that advantage into the changing rooms? Could Bonaire grab that equalizer that they've been threatening for quite a while? We'll have a free kick here just inside the attacking half after that foul on Olex Anderson, which earns him a talking to from Jose Torres. Here they come, Bonaire, straight down the middle, and there's space on the left for Timothy Muller. Muller trying to chop it back onto his right foot. Falls to Van der Sand. Spreads it on this right side, and a left-footed shot was charged down. Good closing there. And Najima Bergen charging down that shot, which might have been dangerous otherwise. Final minute of the 45. We're about to find out how much stoppage time we'll have at the end of this half. Mistouch there, and that's enough to relieve the pressure on St. Vincent for now. Told there will be one additional minute of stoppage time at the end of the half. Free kick for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. As we head into that stoppage time, there is the indication from fourth official Jorge Laera. Two officials from Puerto Rico, two from Panama. And this quartet today wearing the bright yellow. Another free kick for St. Vincent. In stoppage time. Could they snag a second goal before halftime? Late opportunity to create some pressure. Jack Adams again over it. Swings it into the box, top of the 6-yard area. Still might fall on this near side. Now the flag has gone up. Free kick for Bonaire. First half just about up now. And there is the halftime whistle from Jose Torres. And so St. Vincent and the Grenadines, maybe not a vintage performance from them so far. They're doing what they had to do to this point. Ezra Hendrickson not looking super pleased, but the good news for his side is they are in front thanks to that 19th minute goal from Dial Spring. Have to win today to have a chance at winning the group with everything that comes with it. They are winning thus far. 45 gone, 45 to go in El Salvador in this Nations League League B Group A finale for these two sides. And it is St. Vincent and the Grenadines 1, Bonaire 0. Back for the second half here in El Salvador between St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Bonaire, with St. Vincent leading by a goal to nil through the opening 45 minutes. You see the two sides back out onto the pitch. St. Vincent leading thanks to that 19th minute goal from Dial Spring following a great exchange from a throw-in by St. Vincent that caught Bonaire out. No substitutions at the half. Both sides continue with their original 11. Bonaire have a short bench. They only have 5 outfield players on their bench today, so limited options for them to change things up. St. Vincent's have a full bench. Again, neither coach utilizing any of those substitutes just yet. Referee Jose Torres really let things play in the first half. Not many whistles, not many fouls. Led to an excellent pace and a really entertaining opening 45. We'll see if we get more of the same in the second half. It is Bonaire in the white with the blue sleeves and the red trim. St. Vincent in those green kits with the gold collars. And St. Vincent must win to have a chance to win this group, which would mean going to the Gold Cup directly next summer and gaining promotion to League A in the next Concacaf Nations League edition. Bonaire would need a win to make sure they don't get relegated to League C. They entered the day a point ahead of Montserrat for third place to avoid that bottom spot in the group that means automatic relegation. It is Bonaire to get things back underway in the second half. The whistle goes and off we go again. Final 45 in League B Group A for this 2024-2025 CONCACAF Nations League season. Bonaire had some good moments in that first half. Unfortunate not to score on a couple occasions. Had 62% of the possession. They give away a throw-in early in this second half. And St. Vincent would love to win by a clear few goals so that they have a better goal differential than El Salvador as the flag goes up for offside here. If St. Vincent could win by at least 3 goals in this game, as we see the offside decision, it was a good one from the assistant referee. If St. Vincent could win by at least 3 goals in this game, that would take their goal differential above El Salvador's, and that would mean that if El Salvador were held to a draw later tonight in their game against Montserrat, then St. Vincent would have the tiebreaker. They would both finish on 13 points in that scenario. St. Vincent would have the better goal differential and thus would win the group. So basically, if St. Vincent can grab a couple more and win by at least 3, that would force El Salvador to have to win their game tonight. A draw wouldn't be good enough in that circumstance. Otherwise, if St. Vincent only win by 1, as this cross sprayed into the middle, stays in play at that far post and was on goal and had to be saved by Lemus Christopher. Cross looked like it was headed out of play and somehow curled and stayed in, and Christopher had to be snug to that post to keep it out. But if St. Vincent only win by 1 goal, then a draw would be enough for El Salvador later tonight. They would only need 1 point from that game. You ask, what if St. Vincent were to win by 2 goals and then El Salvador were to draw later tonight? Well, then it would go to other more arcane tiebreakers. Because in that situation, they'd be tied on both points and goal differential. What a slaloming little run here. Olex Anderson keeping possession, trying to slide a teammate through, and he wins a free kick. Great feat from Olex Anderson. Watch him somehow keep his balance. He was losing his captain's armband, which was yanked off his arm. He was trying to keep a hold of that, kept a hold of the ball as well. Wonderful acrobatics from Olex Anderson, showing how electric he can be once again. forces Denyor Cecilia to line up what appears to be a four-man wall. Looks like he's going to go with just three now. Jack Adams, as usual, is over it. Najima Bergen also in the area. It is usually Adams from these kinds of spots. So Jose Torres reminds the three players in the wall to keep their arms down. It will be Shaq Adams over the wall, but just wide. Denyor Cecilia was stranded. He was rooted to the ground. Nothing he could do here. Just whistled wide of that post. Free kick for Bonaire now. And they wanted to take it quickly. Referee saying the ball wasn't at a full stop. So what's been fun about this game, both teams have really wanted to keep the tempo high. So many times you see one team that wants a high tempo and the other wants to slow things down. It's rare that both teams are so eager to keep the game moving as fast as possible. Part of what's contributing to that, of course, is that both teams really need to win this game. A draw probably doesn't do either one a whole lot of good. A draw, again, might be enough for St. Vincent and the Grenadines to advance to the Gold Cup prelims, or it might not, depending on what else happens in League B in this final round of games. Conversely, a draw might be enough for Bonaire to stay in League B for the next season, or it might not, depending on what happens between El Salvador and Montserrat later tonight. If Montserrat were to spring a big upset and beat El Salvador, then a draw would not be enough for Bonaire, and they'd be relegated. Free kick for St. Vincent. Solomon fouled this time. Hauled down by Amir Winkler. A lot more whistles early in this second half than we saw in the first. Can't really fault the referee, though. Has to blow his whistle there. Jort van der Sand was being almost rugby tackled for a moment. Not the best kick out from Lemus Christopher, and he gives it away. And Bonaire have a free kick. Heavy challenge that's going to draw a caution for Najima Bergen. First player carded for St. Vincent today. Oleana went into the book in the first half for Bonaire. So a set piece for Bonaire in a pretty dangerous position. Wendley Martin looks like he's going to take this. It looks like he's going to go for goal with it. Certainly close enough in that you can do that. Five-man wall for St. Vincent. Martin plays for Feyenoord. Here he goes. It's on goal, but more or less straight at Lemus Christopher. Decent strike. Winley Martin not able to guide it either side of the goalkeeper. Did well to get it on frame. Got it up and down over the wall. Here he goes again, Martin. Clever dribbles. Easy run. That's going to spin out for a throw down by that corner flag. Another look at the strike. Here he goes again, trying to create space. Now St. Vincent with a chance to get out on the counter. First time they've had a chance to run in this second half. That's overhit, though. Simple gather for Denyor Cecilia. Well, Bonaire continue to look dangerous, but haven't been able to turn that danger into a goal yet. As things stand, St. Vincent doing enough to force El Salvador to get a result later tonight. It's a good underlap, though, down this right side. Then the cross toward the far post, just overhit. Trying to pick out Jort van der Sand. The only problem for Bonaire, even though they've had a lot of the ball and have gotten it into some good spaces in the attacking third, they've rarely had many runners into the box at once, and there they had just one to pick out. Always difficult to do that. That ball was in play. I think there was some confusion as to whether it actually was or not. As Lemus Christopher can gather this. And later tonight, 8 o'clock U.S. Eastern Time, El Salvador at home in this same stadium against Montserrat. Here's a foot race and into the box, tumbling over, shouts for a penalty. Not heeded by the referee, and we go on. Shaq Adams on the run. Marcelin Poirier, the captain, doing just enough for Bonaire to get back and tidy up. Wasn't really the tidiest challenge, but it worked well enough under the circumstance. Ball just did roll out of play. Nearly 12 minutes gone in the second half. Here's Olex Anderson, always dangerous on this flank. Still Anderson, and then struck from outside the area. Blocked by the center back for Bonaire. St. Vincent, though, a little bit of momentum now after a fairly slow start to this second half. Dueling number 8's down in that corner, and then it takes a fortunate deflection for Bonaire and spins to the goalkeeper, Denyor Cecilia. Van der Sand arguably has been the best player on the pitch for Bonaire today, but dispossessed that time by Diel Spring, who has the game's only goal. It came back in the 19th minute. That's why St. Vincent have the lead as we close in on an hour played in San Salvador. Taken back by very sun and shine. You're definitely seeing today that Bonaire have talent. They have multiple players that play in Holland, including one who plays for Feyenoord, Roendley Martin, who hit that free kick on goal a few minutes ago. Here he is in a battle for this ball now. Both players go down. Play goes on. Here's Olex Anderson. He's always going to get to that ball first. And Anderson into the box on his left. Squares it across the face. What a save. Incredible stop by Daniel Cecilia. One of the saves of the tournament so far. And somehow it stays 1-0. And now St. Vincent have to make sure they don't get caught. They have a man just getting back to his feet. Play continues, and here's Martin. Van der Sand. Squaring it, Sonnenschein. Hits it with his left, and it's blocked. What an absolutely incredible stop from Daniel Cecilia. We'll see it again in a moment when there's a stoppage in play, but there aren't many stoppages right now, and here goes Olex Anderson again. Thought he'd set up a goal a moment ago. Here comes Cecilia once more, and then he took some contact. Although again, referee letting play go on. Watch this. Anderson does everything right. Squares it across the face. It was Shaq Adams who set up their first goal, who thought for sure he had a goal here, and no, says Daniel Cecilia, getting across and somehow keeping it out. Well, it's the kind of game that could be 4-3 by now. Somehow it's still just 1-0. Still lots of drama. And plenty of different scenarios that could play out. Not just over the last half hour of this game, but as things stand, over the 90 minutes of the game later tonight. Bonaire looked like they were going to make their first changes of the afternoon. I guess they're going to wait on that for now. Is played long, and it's a good first touch. Great chest down by Dial Spring, who tries to turn the corner. And this is going to be a free kick for St. Vincent down by the end line. And now those changes will happen for Bonaire. In fact, both teams, it appears, are about to make a double switch. Out comes Oleana, who's been on a yellow since early in the first half for Bonaire. Timothy Muller also comes off the pitch. Shirenio Jimenez is the first who comes on for them. And Hafet Vlilt will be the other. Again, Bonaire only had 5 outfield substitutes at the start of this game. Najima Bergen, who is on a yellow for St. Vincent, comes off. So does Shaq Adams, who still can't believe he didn't score a moment ago. Kyle Edwards, one of the two who comes on for St. Vincent. Edwards plays for Hartford Athletic. This ball is swung into the back post, goes through everyone, and it's a goal kick. This is turned over again, just onto the pitch. Kyle Edwards trying to make something happen. It ran away from him. Chevron McLean, the other player who has come on for St. Vincent. He is currently without a club, but international windows like this, a great opportunity to showcase yourself. A player like McLean. "26.5 minutes of the 90 remaining. And here goes Van der Sande, laying it off left side. Still could break for Bonaire, but taken the other way and kept from going out of play. Punted down the pitch by Tristan Marshall. So Tanjamir Cecilia wanting that ball played early. Another free kick drawn by Jort Van der Sande. He's been fouled a bunch today. It's been a very confident performance from Bonaire, who continue to show that they have the potential to be very competitive indeed in the Nations League year in and year out with the kind of talent that they're able to access from Holland and elsewhere. One of the great things about this Nations League, which is now in its 4th edition, it has allowed countries like Bonaire and St. Vincent and the Grenadines to play regular competitive matches every single year. As you see a player is down for St. Vincent, stretcher appears to be coming out for Tristan Marshall. Ezra Hendrickson trying to guide his side to 4 wins out of 6 games in this group. Came in with 3 wins, a draw, and a loss. Their only defeat in this group came against El Salvador on October 10th. That was a 3-2 game where they actually led 2-1 about midway through the second half. El Salvador came from behind late to win that. Otherwise, St. Vincent would be having an opportunity to clinch the group with everything that comes with it this game today. Ooh, that apparently was the injury to Tristan Marshall. It's the right hand or wrist, and well, if you're going to pick up an injury, that's not the way you want to do it. Hopefully that's nothing too serious for him. There's space here for St. Vincent. What can they turn it into? Down the right side comes Stephen Pierre, tries to chip the keeper. It's off the post. Second ball's bundled in. Flag stays down. Goal counts. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 2 goals ahead in a must-win. And now some smiles for Ezra Hendrickson and his staff on the bench. It's been an uncomfortable day for them. Bonaire have come close. They've given them a big challenge. St. Vincent finally have breathing room. The finishing touch appeared to come from Kyle Edwards, but it's all about this first-time clipped ball. What a chip this was. Almost a highlight reel goal. Still turns out to be a goal. Simple finish for Kyle Edwards. It was Stephen Pierre with the wonderful chip that turns into an assist. Watch this. Almost inch perfect. As it is, the bounce off the post was kind enough for St. Vincent. And credit Kyle Edwards for following up and being in the right place. Only needed a touch, and it didn't really matter what kind of touch it was. But you still have to be there, and he was. And so Pierre and Edwards combined for the second of the day for Vincey Heat. Who now appear that they will indeed put some heat on El Salvador later tonight when they take to this same pitch against Montserrat. Looks like they'll do it needing to win. Oh, that's a bad challenge. Free kick for Bonaire. This one's not over yet. Still over 21 minutes remaining. Yellow card to Kanija Joseph. So free kick for Bonaire. Short Van der Sand, regardless of the outcome of this game, has been a handful and a half for St. Vincent to try to deal with this afternoon. They really have not been able to deal with him, other than by fouling him repeatedly. The frustration from Bonaire's standpoint will be that they just haven't capitalized enough from these kinds of situations. Really, Martin, one of the players around this. St. Vincent again setting up a 5-man wall. Van der Sand steps up. It is Van der Sand, and another save from Lemus Christopher. Well, that's 2 free kicks in the second half that have beaten the wall, but have been more or less straight at the keeper. You never want to take getting a free kick on target for granted because it's difficult to do from any kind of distance. But still, those are saves that the keeper would expect to make, and to his credit, he has made that brilliant save in the first half on the point-blank chance for Bonaire that could have equalized. Here's Olex Anderson. Remember, St. Vincent really want more goals. First objective, of course, was to win, which they had to do. Second objective, then, would be to win by as many as possible. As things stand right now, if you were to look at a live table, they'd be a point ahead of El Salvador, but of course El Salvador with a game in hand because they play in a few hours and could still pass them with a win. The question would be what happens if El Salvador draws, and that's what's in doubt right now. Because right now, St. Vincent and El Salvador are tied on goal differential at +5 each during this group stage. This is shielded out, and this is a goal kick for St. Vincent. Here comes a substitution for St. Vincent and the Grenadines as Jamal York is about to come on for them, and he will replace Brandon John. This ball is stabbed toward the far touchline, and it was last off of Amir Winkler. He knew that, so he was trying to keep it from going out of play, but could not ultimately do so. It's a throw for St. Vincent. Ball flicked on at the near post directly from the throw. That long throw almost paid off for St. Vincent. That headed wide by Kyle Edwards, who was on the score sheet a few minutes ago. This was the goal that Edwards ultimately scored. It was all about that chip from Stephen Pierre. Wonderful clip. Deserved a goal by itself. Turns into an assist instead. But again, credit Edwards for following up the play and being in the right place. So Bonaire continuing to knock. They've played so well at points today. This ball into the middle, and it's an own goal. And Bonaire do have one back. St. Vincent and the Grenadines are not there yet. Not at all. They've been threatening all afternoon, and finally they get one, Bonaire. 16 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. St. Vincent 2, Bonaire 1. Well, they worked it out wide into a fairly dangerous spot, but I think the goalkeeper was going to be able to claim that cross. It did take a deflection off the first defender, and it made it awkward. The own goal will go against Jamal York, who is the player who just came on a couple minutes ago. And again, it's a tough spot for him because when that ball takes a deflection like that, you're not sure where it's going to spin next. He felt he had to play it. Well, they try to get it right back. Alex Anderson stood up beautifully. So just when it looked like St. Vincent were almost home in terms of at least winning this game that they had to win, just when it looked like they had seen off a pretty significant threat from Bonaire for most of the day, Bonaire get that kind break of the ball that they'd been missing most of the afternoon. And so a quarter of an hour still to play, at least, and it's back in the balance. Again, a draw doesn't do Bonaire a ton of good, or at least it doesn't change the situation for them very much. As this bounces into the area, shouts for a penalty. That was right on the edge of the box. Nothing given, though. Again, for Bonaire, they came into this game a point ahead of Montserrat for third in the group. Third place means you stay up in League B and you don't get relegated. If you finish fourth and bottom of your group, you're automatically relegated down to the next league. That would be League C. See this free kick that was just awarded to St. Vincent. And they immediately clip it out to Alex Anderson, who's in tons of room. And he's able to surge along the end line, and Anderson into the middle, and it's put out for a corner kick for St. Vincent. There again was the captain, Marcelin Poirier. And now two more changes coming for Bonaire. And Bonaire with only the 5 outfield substitutes at the start of this game, so they've used 4 of them now. Freddie and Michiel is one who's coming on for them, replacing Serginho Gerardo. Coming off as well, Amir Winkelaar, replaced by Adri Cerberi. Now the corner for St. Vincent, lofted toward the back post, and foul given against the men in green. They had 2 players queuing up there at the back post, mostly unmarked. Maybe just a little shove in the back there, penalized. Finishing the thought on Bonaire, they were a point ahead of Montserrat for third in the group. So a draw for them would put them 2 points ahead of Montserrat. So they would need Montserrat to not win against El Salvador one way or the other, because Bonaire entered the day with the tiebreaker over Montserrat on goal differential by a healthy margin. This is a free kick for St. Vincent by midfield. Bonaire -2 in goal differential to Montserrat's -6 at the start of the day. This foul drawn by goal scorer Kyle Edwards. So even if they were to come back and draw this game 2-2, it'd be a great result for them after trailing 2-0. Wouldn't really change the scenario that much from how it started today. Alex Anderson now. Clipped down, edge of the area. That's a free kick. Easy call for the referee and an easy yellow to the recently introduced Hafet Vlilt. Well, there's a player on either side that each team has just struggled to contain all afternoon. Olex Anderson has definitely been that guy for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We've spoken about Jort Vandersan and the problems he's caused for St. Vincent all day as well. With 11 minutes to play, St. Vincent and the Grenadines want to get that goal back. Because again, they've fallen behind El Salvador on goal differential again by conceding that goal a few minutes ago. Even though they would currently leapfrog them in the live table. Well, lots of pushing and shoving and some tempers boiling over late in this game. Referee's going to bring a couple of what he perceives to be the culprits over. Looks like there will be cards handed out. One to Joseph Barter for St. Vincent, and the other, it appears, to Rayleigh Martin for Bonaire. Two players on the pitch for St. Vincent on yellows now, one for Bonaire. Still waiting for this free kick. Now the free kick. Olex Anderson over everyone. Not sure if he was going for that corner himself. Actually, it was Kyle Edwards, excuse me, who took that. Not sure if he was trying to hit that top back corner or whether he was trying to pick somebody out at the back post. Either way, didn't work out. St. Vincent, though, come right back. And here's Anderson again. He has one in the middle and tries to square that ball across. Didn't beat the first defender. This space is opening up more and more for St. Vincent in this second half. But just the one goal advantage. Another one of those underlapping runs, and it's lifted into the middle, and a diving header spins into the net, and the 2-goal lead restored for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Diel Spring has his second of the day. St. Vincent 3, Bonaire 1. Vincey Heat heading back to the top of Group A as things stand. Continuing to put the pressure on El Salvador later tonight. Textbook diving header. Goalkeeper got fingertips on it. Couldn't keep it out. And Cecilia's touch actually spun it around his man on the line as well. Marchelon Poirier appeared to be in position initially to clear that off the line, but once it took the touch off Cecilia's fingers, there was nothing else he could do. And so they do get that goal back. And they do go level with El Salvador again on goal differential as well. Free kick for St. Vincent. So the way things are at the moment, if this result were to hold, a draw for El Salvador later tonight might not be enough, and I stress might. St. Vincent could make that a little bit more clear if they were to score another goal. And they're going to have a free kick here out on this wing. So the tiebreakers in the Concacaf Nations League, goal differential, that's the obvious one that everybody knows about. And the second tiebreaker is goals scored. Now, El Salvador entered the day with 11 goals scored. St. Vincent started the day with 9. Well, they've obviously scored 3, so right now St. Vincent have 12 total goals scored. to El Salvador's 11. Again, El Salvador play later tonight in just a few hours in their final group game. So it's possible they could end level on goals scored as well. If El Salvador, for example, were to draw 1-1, say, with Montserrat. Next tiebreaker after that is goals scored in a series. As this free kick toward the back post, it's in play, it's on the doorstep. I think it spun off that near post. It clipped that upright, I do believe. It stays in play. And it's lifted back into the area, and this time Denyor Cecilia can claim. What a wild game. It's not over yet. It's been thoroughly fun from a neutral standpoint. I don't know how either head coach will feel about it. Free kick for Bonaire. Let's look at this latest crazy sequence. Takes a double deflection. I think the goalkeeper actually saved that. I don't think it hit the post when you see it from that angle. I think Cecilia actually managed to paw that away with his hands. There goes Van der Sand. Oh, that's a frustrated challenge there. He's fortunate he didn't actually make contact with the man because the ball was long gone. St. Vincent, well, they don't make the most of that. That was an opportunity. And he still might on this second attempt. Forward comes Jamal York, and he's chopped down. Another free kick coming for Vincy Heat. Inside the final 5 of the 90. So St. Vincent would really like another goal so that they end this game with a better goal differential than El Salvador. That would clarify a lot of things. As this is scooped into the box and somehow punched away by Cecilia with the player right in his face. And now struck with the right, and it's off the underside of the bar. Still alive on the doorstep. Left-footed strike. What a save, Cecilia again. St. Vincent so close to scoring that 4th goal. But they really, really want now. Now they give it away, and they could get caught on the counter. Lifted over the top. That's a really good ball. Fredian Michiel off the bench. He's going to line this one up with his right, and it's straight at the goalkeeper. Look at this effort. I think Cecilia gets a touch on that. I think that's a save initially. And he certainly makes a save here as well. Denyor Cecilia has made some phenomenal stops in this second half. Another free kick given against St. Vincent's Tristan Marshall. And the Bonaire players aren't too pleased with that. Marshall is booked. The Bonaire players feel it should be more than that. Well, to try to finish the thought on the tiebreakers, right now, if El Salvador were to draw 1-1 against Montserrat later tonight, let's say, that would mean these two teams, St. Vincent and El Salvador, would finish level on points, level on goal differential, and level on goals scored, as that spun out for a goal kick. The next tiebreaker after that would be goals scored in their series, in other words, head-to-head. Well, they've met twice, El Salvador and St. Vincent, in this group. They split those 2 meetings, 1 win apiece. However, El Salvador beat St. Vincent 3-1. I take that back. I'm looking at the wrong category. That was in World Cup qualification this June. In their game in the group, St. Vincent beat El Salvador 2-1. That was on October the 13th. So it appeared that St. Vincent would own that tiebreaker if it were to go that deep. None of that would matter, of course, if El Salvador win later tonight. That would make all of this completely academic. Bonaire is still trying to grab another goal back of their own. For Bonaire, the situation's pretty clear. They're going to need El Salvador to get some kind of result against Montserrat later tonight in order to avoid relegation to League C. A draw wouldn't be enough for Montserrat. It currently appears. He spins up into the air. Cecilia should take this. No, he fumbles it. Now is able to regather the second time. Final 20 seconds or so of the 90. He should have a decent amount of stoppage time after that. And Bonaire still in search of more goals. Trying to chop it into the middle and having it hacked away was Shirenio Jimenez. Going to have an additional 4 minutes at the end of this second half. We are into those 4 minutes now. Good footwork from Van der Sand, and Van der Sand then scuffed his shot after all that. Tired-looking attempt from Van der Sand. You can't blame him. It's been terrific all afternoon for Bonaire. Alex Anderson looking for one more opportunity. It's that one overhit in his direction. At the moment, it appears, if this result were to hold, as St. Vincent are going to make 2 late changes. They bring Micah Joseph and Orion Vilox onto the pitch. Looks like Stephen Pierre is coming off. Also removed is Ezinho Solomon. So it's looking as though El Salvador will need to win tonight against Montserrat to win the group. A draw might not be enough for El Salvador, unless it were a high-scoring draw, as things currently stand. If they were to draw 2-2 or, say, 3-3, then they would have more goals scored across the group stage than St. Vincent do. And so that's the second tiebreaker. El Salvador would own that. But if they draw, say, 0-0 or 1-1, it looks like St. Vincent would own that next tiebreaker after that. And a late goal in this game could still change that scenario. All of this is subject to official confirmation, but that appears to be where things stand at the moment. And just to reiterate it one more time, and if you've been watching all 90-plus minutes of this, A, we appreciate it, and B, you're probably tired of hearing about it by now, but none of all of those permutations matter if El Salvador win, which they are certainly favored to do, playing in their home national stadium against Montserrat later tonight. But boy, you never know. Final day drama, it's usually a thing in soccer, no matter the league, no matter the competition, no matter the venue. This is going to be a late free kick for Bonaire in the final minute of stoppage time. And again, it's important for St. Vincent that they don't give up a goal here. Even though they're apparently going to win this game and do the primary thing that they needed to do. They give up a goal here, then suddenly a draw would be enough for El Salvador no matter what later tonight. Hafet Vlilt over the free kick. Sprays it in low. It's repelled there. And now they're away on the break, perhaps St. Vincent. We've had the 4 minutes. It's turned over, but St. Vincent able to take it back. And there is the full-time whistle. St. Vincent and the Grenadines do what they needed to do today. They had to win to give themselves a chance at topping this group, gaining direct access to the Gold Cup next summer and promotion to League A. Now they will need help later tonight from Montserrat when they play El Salvador. But St. Vincent and the Grenadines needed the 3 points, needed to win by at least 2 goals to also overturn the goal differential as things stand. 2 goals from Dial Spring, and 1 more as well from the substitute Kyle Edwards. Mean that Ezra Hendrickson's men end a very strong campaign. Whatever else happens, wherever they finish by the end of the night, 4 wins, 1 draw, just 1 defeat. More progress for this St. Vincent side as they hold off Bonaire today by a final of 3-1. Stay tuned for full-time highlights before we say goodbye and get set for our second half of our doubleheader later tonight. Highlights from our 90 minutes today and the final group match of Group A, League B, the Concacaf Nations League this afternoon in San Salvador. An early opportunity for Bonaire, who played quite well today. Certainly added a lot to this game. It was a great match from Jort van der Sand, who was a threat throughout. He forced an early save out of Lemus Christopher. The opening goal arrived in the 19th minute, though, and it was very well worked from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Finished off by Dial Spring. It was great interplay with Shaq Adams at the heart of it. Adams then put it on the proverbial plate for Dial Spring to slam it home. So it was 1-0 as we entered the second half. In the second half, Olex Anderson here thought he had teed up the second goal, but a wonderful save by Denyor Cecilia at point-blank range denied Shaq Adams. Watch this stop. Instinctive, so good. But then the second goal arrived. It almost was a spectacular clipped goal from outside the area. Instead, it was bundled home on the rebound by the substitute Kyle Edwards. And watch this from Pierre off the bench as well. And he deserved the assist, deserved more than that, in fact, but he'll be happy his teammate was able to bundle it in. A goal was pulled back by Bonaire, though, on this unfortunate own goal that deflected off of Jamal York, who felt he had to play that ball. You'll see here that it takes a slight deflection off the first defender, and York felt he had to stretch out and get something on it. No telling with the spin of that ball from the deflection where it would have gone. But St. Vincent added the killer third shortly before full time. A diving header and the second goal of the match for Dial Spring. Had himself quite a day, as this time Cecilia got a fingertip to it, but couldn't divert it wide of the post. And so it was 3-1. It was nearly a fourth. Terrific hit from outside the area. We were so close to seeing some true highlight reel goals today. An extremely entertaining 90 minutes as Cecilia, who appeared to get a fingertip on the first shot, certainly saved the follow-up as well. As we see our full-time statistics in this one, 14 shots to 6 in favor of St. Vincent. That second half was heavily in their favor in that category. 5 on target for either side, though. Both goalkeepers showed out at points. There were 25 fouls in total, 7 yellow cards as well. With the possession winding up 59% in Bonaire's favor, but St. Vincent, with that speed and that counter-attacking ability, they used it very well. here today. Well, I certainly enjoyed it. Certainly hope you did as well. A wide open attacking match. 4 goals in it, could have been a bunch more. But St. Vincent put the pressure on El Salvador tonight. Again, El Salvador and Montserrat still to come later this evening from this same stadium at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. We hope you'll join us for that as we see if El Salvador will win the group or if St. Vincent have in fact done enough to win it themselves. Lots more drama to come this evening. Until then, I'm Donnie Barnes saying good afternoon from San Salvador, where it finishes in this one. St. Vincent and the Grenadines 3, Bonaire 1.